Good morning, Facebook friends. You would have recalled that a week or two ago, I came to the media and I said that we received a document from the CPO giving the PSA 0.000% for the years 2014, 2015, and 2016. We said that because it was the truth and it remains the truth. All of a sudden, we have these persons crawling out of their holes, persons who were silent on negotiations issues, claiming that it is not true. Today, I'm doing this live for maybe 5 minutes or so to make it absolutely clear that in the PSA, we are about serving our members. We have heard the cries of our members. Some of our members currently exist on salaries dating back to 2007. They have not received anything for 2008 to 2010, nor have they received salary increases for 2011 to 2013. We are convinced that there is no group of employees in Trinidad and Tobago today that has a union that have received any quantum of money for the period 2014 to 2016. So yes, we are not alone. And yes, misery loves company. But we are not guided by the fact that people are not minded to negotiate. We in the PSC understand the suffering public officers are going through. And I wish to point to you at this point in time. Based on the Civil Service Act, Section 14 of the Act, it places a responsibility upon the CPO. It says the CPO is responsible for keeping under constant review the classes of persons employed and their compensation. It goes further to state under Section 14 that the Minister of Finance, before he makes any kind of recommendation for remuneration, he must take into consideration the salaries of persons doing similar jobs that exist within the public service. So he must look within the country for persons doing clerk work, engineering work. Yes, he must look for persons doing surveying work, look for persons who are nurses, look for persons who are doctors, look for persons who are doing different from national security, and use that as a basis for normalizing salaries. In other words, I'm saying to you, Section 14 of the Civil Service Act speaks of market rates for public officers. We have the business community using market rates for the sale of their goods, market forces, they say. It is the same way that the market will determine the salary that is paid to a job. More than just the market, what affects the market is a number of attendant factors. This is a course in Economics 101, very simple. Attendant factors as the cost of food, the cost of rent, the cost of transportation, just the basic cost of staying alive, the basic cost. In 1996, it was said that the cost of feeding a single adult, just feeding alone, nothing else, was $1,006 per month. Yesterday, in a meeting with one of the PSAs from the Office of the Prime Minister, she agreed to the fact that feeding one child in St. Michael School for Boys Home in Diego Martin at one time cost the country $10,000. They brought it to $3,000, and today it is $1,000. So she's saying that to feed a child in St. Michael home, that child is not paying rent, he's not paying for electricity, he's not paying for transportation. He just wakes, sleep, eat. That's it. To feed that child, it is $1,000. We're not talking clothes. To feed that child, they assign $1,000 to feed that child. That came from the Prime Minister's office via the Secretary, Jackie Johnson, in a meeting yesterday. I am somewhat awestruck by the silence of many of my colleagues in the trade union movement regarding negotiations. I'm also motivated at the same time by my members who are frustrated with the pains of living from day to day. I want to make it absolutely clear to you, the PSA is aware of your pain, your suffering, your heartache, and your domestic challenges. This is why we publicly expose the government for their negative offer of 0.00%. We exposed it. We went on further sometime, I think it was Monday, not last week. I would have issued a letter last week to the CPO rejecting the 0% offer and saying to her that I agree with the finance minister in that the offer should be withdrawn. They did withdraw the offer, of course. They said there's no offer. So they did withdraw the 0% offer. But I also tried to ask her, what is the offer on the table? What is the offer? To now, I have not received a response from the CPO. But I did not give her an inordinate amount of time. I didn't give her forever to answer. I said to her, I want her to answer by the 11th of May. That's next week, Friday. Folks, the CPO deserve to give us an answer. We need an answer. Your children need an answer why you cannot keep sending them to that school. Your children need an answer why the lights has been cut. Your children need an answer why there's no internet. Yes, the taxi driver needs an answer why you can't pay this morning. People need an answer from you. We must not allow them to escape without answering us. And so I'm prepared to speak to you on a morning about the issues that affect the public service. Sometime I will go live. That's the new style I'm adopting. Sometime I'll take you into meeting rooms with us where we're negotiating. You will see how we have to use forceful language. We have to speak in a particular tone because that's the tone they understand. All right? You will see the whole cut and thrust of trade unionism. And I'm hoping that by you looking at our life from time to time, it wouldn't be a joke, but you will understand the work of a leader is not an easy one. But you have to be passionate, you have to be committed. I'm working my you-know-what off, trying to make a better day for each and every public officer. At the end of the day, I need your support. I'm calling upon you to stay tuned to these updates, especially the updates on negotiations. Those persons in RHA, I'll be visiting you very shortly. I understand there's some issues there taking place with this overtime and this shift, and some persons are actually having monies deducted from their salary to pay mortgage, and the mortgage is being paid late, and as a result, they are incurring penalties by the mortgage institution. We are taking note of all of these things, and we'll be visiting soon. All the 100 sections that we have under our control, feel free to send me a message on Facebook. Let me know what the situations are. We will be coming down and we'll be visiting you without notice. Be prepared. We have written to the CPO again last week. We have asked her for a meeting. We have asked her what is the new offer. Remember that? She has not given us an offer, and she has not given us another offer apart from the 0.00%, which was withdrawn by the Minister of Finance, saying that there's no offer on the table. Fine. What is now the new offer? Having withdrawn 0.00% for the years 2014 to 2016, what is the new offer? That's our concern. The CPO has till next week Friday to respond to us. We would be informing you as to what we are doing. We would be letting you know how we are moving. We will not be moving alone. We'll be moving with you. I thank you for listening to this live. Please share it. Let the people know that we're working on their arrears. We are working on negotiations. Frankly, what are we looking for? I can't end without that. We are looking for a living wage. A living wage is a wage which allows the lowest paid worker, regardless of their rank, regardless of their salary, to spend at least 30% of that salary on securing a rent, a mortgage, or the purchase of a home. You see, based on Maslow hierarchy of needs, the need for security and home is the first basic need of man. A man needs to feel safe. A man needs a home to rest. We are human beings. We are like that. And we are saying, if your salary cannot afford you to pay rent, if your salary cannot afford you to get a mortgage, then certainly you are not working for a living wage. In looking for that, we have done some homework. We have recognized that the basic rent in Trinidad and Tobago, the basic rent, some of our members are living in Laventille, and we asked them, what is the cost of a 2-bedroom house in Laventille? And you know what they said to us? It's about $2,500. All right? $2,500. Now, couple that $2,500 and ask yourself, should that be 30% of a salary? Then 90% will be $7,500. Okay? So 100% be anything like $8,000. $8,000 is a living wage in this country. I'm saying this to you. Yes, I know you have been trained over the years to lower your gaze and to lower your expectation, not to desire anything. But as a public servant, as a worker for the government of this country, you are not supposed to work your way in poverty. You ought to be able to maintain a reasonable, the word is reasonable, standard of living. Now, $2,500 cannot give you a luxury apartment. $2,500 will give you a basic 2-bedroom apartment in a place that is not fully developed, in a place where there are water challenges, in a place where security isn't really all that tight. And so therefore you pay $2,500. But based on the normal flow of things in this country, a 2-bedroom house will be anything like about $3,500. But I'm going for the lowest 2-bedroom house that looks basically decent. Basically, that 2-bedroom house is about $2,500. Now, 30% of your salary ought to be going towards securing a home. All right? If $2,500 represents 30% of your salary, then 90% of your salary will be $2,500 by 3, which will give you $7,500. Add a $500 on that, and there you have it. $8,000 should be the lowest paid salary for a government worker. So I could hear all of these P&M economists. I could hear all of these devilish persons from the business community saying that he's going to bust the country. He's asking for too much money. What happened to Duke? What's wrong with him? I want to say to you, nothing is wrong with me. All that is wrong with me is that I want to see you have a better life. No public officer should be living in squalor. No public officer should have to juggle between paying school fees or paying lights. No public officer should be frustrated when the month comes studying whether to buy these low products that are questionable or these premium products that are reliable. We shouldn't have to be juggling over what we eat. Access to food, access to healthcare, access to education. These are basic human rights. Home ownership. These are basic human rights. I'm saying to you, we are with you, and all we want for this country is that persons be afforded a decent standard of living. So as we look to wrap up, I could go on and on, keep it short and tight. I want to say to you, please share this live and let us try our best to support each other in doing what's right and what is good. But I'm asking for, as a minimum salary, it's $8,000 because the information, the data just came back in. The price for an apartment, a reasonable 2-bedroom apartment in this country, is now $2,500. When you add property tax to that, the price will go up. If, based on international standards, the cost of the amount of money you should spend on rent or home ownership or something like that is 30%, $2,500 by 3 is 90%. That will be $7,500. You add a 5, so that you have 8. I'm leaving it here for today. See you tomorrow. God bless you. Have a nice day, people.